Hello students, welcome to the Edupedia World videos. In the previous class, we discussed about the muscular tissues, and today we are going to start with the last type of tissues, that is the nervous tissues. Now why nervous tissues are very important? The nervous tissues makes us very special organisms on the earth. They help us to react towards the stimuli of outside. Even it helps to coordinate the various parts of the body. So we can define the nervous tissues as the tissues which are specialized in reception, that is the receiving of the signals, integration, that is the assembling of the signals, and the transmission of the signals, which can also be known as the stimuli. Now you can define the stimuli in simple words as any change in the surroundings. These nervous tissues, they do not contain any matrix, and they are aggregated to form the important organs of the body, the brain, which helps us to think, the spinal cord, and the nerve cells. The individual cells are known as the neurons or the nerve cells. Now, the nerve cell can be divided into two parts. First, the cell body, and next, the neurites. This is a typical structure of a neuron. First, let us start with the cell body. This is the structure of the cell body. It is polygonal in shape, broader and nucleated part. So here is the nucleus, and it is a polygonal part of the neuron. The centrioles are absent, and this is the most important thing. If the centrioles are absent, the cells do not divide. So this is the thing to be noted, children, that the neurons do not divide throughout their life. Once formed, they cannot divide and form the new cells. The cytoplasm of the neuron is also known as the nucleoplasm. And the two main structures which are present are known as the neurofibrils. These are the neurofibrils and the Nissel's granule. Now the Nissel's granule, they have an important function. First of all, the neurofibrils, they help in the transmission of the impulses. And the Nissel's granule, they are the ribosomes containing structure. And what does the ribosome does in the cells? Yes, it helps to form the proteins. Now, the next part of the nerve cell, that is the neurites. The neurites can be of two types, the dendrites and the axon. First of all, the dendrites. They are small and tapering, branched protoplasm outgrowth. The large dendrites are known as the dendrons. Like cyton, the dendrites possess the neurofibrils and the Nissel's granule. And these dendrites, they pick up the impulse and transmit the same towards the cyton. So this is the figure which I have taken from the previous slide only, and these are the dendrites. You can see that these are the parts which are going to receive the signal first, and then only they are going to pass it to the cyton, which is the acting body actually. The next part or the next type of neurite is the axon. It is a long fiber-like process of uniform thickness that generally arises singly from the cell body. So this is a long extension which you can see. The axon does not have the Nissel's granule. So it does not have any role in the protein synthesis because there are no ribosomes. It contains the neurofibrils. It is surrounded by the sheath which is known as the neurolemma, of special connective tissues which are also called the Schwann cells, which I will show you just now. This enchanted axon is known as the nerve fiber, and there are certain places where the sheath is absent, which is known as the nodes of Ranvier. Now see, this is the place where the sheath is absent, which is known as the nodes of Renvier. Otherwise, it is covered by the myelin sheath. This structure, it is known as the axon, and each Schwann cells have the individual nucleus. This extension part, it is known as the axon. Now the axon is divided terminally into the fine branches known as the terminal arborations or the nerve endings. These parts, they have the knobbed ends. These knobbed ends, you can see a bulgy ends, and these ends, they are in contact with the muscles, the glands, the skin, or any other structure which has to receive the signal. At some places, these knobbed ends, they are called the synaptic knobs, where they are connected to the other dendrite. So you can find one nerve cell, then some space, and the other nerve cell. Now the function of the nervous tissue. First of all, it helps to feel the sensations. Whenever I'm touching a hot pan or I'm touching a cold object, I feel certain sensation. These sensations are because of the nervous tissues. It helps to give a particular response towards a stimuli. When something is trying to enter into my eye, I'm just closing my eye. But the signal of closing the eye comes from the nervous tissue. It helps in controlling the body. We are having controlled responses because of the nervous tissues. And importantly, it helps in the coordination. Our various parts are working in coordination with each other because of the nervous tissues. It helps in the learned behavior. Whatever we have learned once, we are trying to recall it, and the recalling thing comes to our brain and we act accordingly because of the nervous tissues. So they are the most important tissues, isn't it? Now this is a small difference between an axon and a dendrite, because both we have studied in the structures which are known as the neurites. First of all, the process. Axon is uniformly thickened fiber-like process, whereas the dendrites, they are the short tapering processes of neuron. Sheath. Axon is always ensheathed by the myelin sheath, but the sheath is absent on the dendrite. Nissel's granule are absent in the axon, but they can be present in the dendrite. Neurofibrils are mostly absent or maybe present, but they are generally present in the dendrite. Impulse, the most important difference, it takes the impulse away from the cell and this takes the impulse towards the cell. Now, in the next class, we will study about the diversity of the living organisms. Thank you.